Hey guys, Dan Heilman here. We are back with another Summoner's Glory video. This is going to be an entire beginner guide on the game. The game is basically a brand new game, so I want to make a new beginner guide. I'm going to try to touch on everything. The video might end up being a little bit long, but I will put timestamps in the description so you can jump around and see the content that you want to see. Okay, before I begin, I just want to say if you are a brand new person creating a new character, use my content creator code Dan at the character creation screen. You'll get a bunch of freebies shown on the screen right here. You can also do it if you just want to create an alt on a new server, so it helps me out and I appreciate your support. All right, let's move on. All right, let's go through all of the buttons in the game. If you already know where everything is, you can skip past this section. Squad, this is like a group. You can create squads and join other people's squads. You group up with other people to do different content in the game. You can do dungeons, you can do quests, you can do all sorts of things in there. Effects, this is like your gold boost or XP boost. This just shows you what you have active. You can see I have 2 guild boosts right now. Battle assistant, this is basically like your little AFK runner. So if you want to do Phantom Abode, you just go in here, click a level, and basically use some vigor, come back 15 minutes later, and you'll have all these rewards there. Idle, this is basically an idle AFK type thing. You just hit this receive button. The max amount of time you can store up is 24 hours. This is Phantom XP, Player XP, Gold, and Essence of Life, which is used for evolutions. If you click up top on your player icon, you can see your ID number, your name. You can change some of your settings here, and you can see how many phantoms you have. If you click on any of your phantoms, it pulls up your formation. This is basically what team you're using. So you can save 2 different formations, and you have a team formation, which is called squad here. You can only have 2 phantoms when you're in a squad with other people, and you have all of the different tower formations that you can set up here. Bonuses, they have events and stuff in here, so you get all sorts of free stuff when they run these events. They have these different events running right now. This is just the small events. They have really big events as well with a lot of good rewards. They have the tea room here. Twice a day for 1 hour, you can collect free vigor or energy. They also have like a VIP system, which is called Big Spender. When you spend $100, you get an Ancaris, which is one of the best phantoms in the entire game. Check in. Basically go in here every day, collect free rewards. You can see I have collected 294 free rewards. Black market, this is basically where you buy runes, which is the same thing as gear for your phantoms. It gives you stats, crit rate, crit damage, speed, etc. I wouldn't spend too much in here because gold is kind of hard to get in this game. Trove, you reset this thing here by hitting refresh and it will change everything here. It'll change the phantoms and some of the rewards, and when you hit draw, it'll pick 10 randomly. And yeah, so basically use your diamonds, get the phantom you want in the top left or bottom right slot, and then use all of your free keys you get to do that. Shop, if you want to buy stuff, you go to the shop. This is also where you buy vigor for diamonds and all sorts of stuff. If you click phantoms, they have these crystals. This is a very cool mechanic here. This is kind of like your pity system. So whenever you summon epic books, you get these little crystal shards. After you do 300, you get 6 for every book, don't forget. Once you get 300, you get one of these crystals. You can use crystals to buy phantoms. These are some of the strongest phantoms in the game. Usually they'll have one very strong phantom. Bloody Overlord is the #1 phantom in the entire game right now. They also have gold crystals. This is from gold summoning books. I'll go over summoning books in a minute. Novice activity, free rewards. You get them 1 time. Summons, this is how you do summons. Go to the blacksmith if you want to do the epic summons, and basically people will assist you. So you just hit the summon button, you just click summon, it'll bring up this little thing. People will automatically assist you. They'll get a gold book for assisting you. Hit summon, you'll get 6 phantoms here, and that's how that works. SS copies are the best. Keep that in mind. You only want to focus on SS copy phantoms. S is basically like food, and you'll use that for evolutions. Okay? Gold books are the same. You get gold. You also have a chance for SS. You only get 1 summon from a gold book. So I'll show you just one of those real quick. It just basically, you can also do 6 pulls at a time, but you can also get gold crystals from that. Online rewards, this is just like every 5 minutes, you basically get free rewards just for being online. Last 2 or 10 minutes, free stuff. Guide, this is some of the guides for different activities in the game. You can go through and see all these. Effects are important here. So you can see buffs and debuffs in here. You also have daily quest stuff in here. So everything you do basically gives you free daily rewards, and you can do these all once per day. Now, Just to move around, right behind my head, you have this little toggle wheel that you can run around. This is like an open world MMO type thing here. You can run around, you can interact with other players and NPCs and all sorts of stuff. Just walk up to something and click this little box to interact with them. There is some auto features in this game. So on the right hand side here, you can see your quest. If you click the quest, you can see the quest that you're currently on. I've already completed all the story quests, so there's no more for me to do yet. You have bonus quests, raid quests, warrant quests, daily quests, all sorts of quests in here. You click on this box here. If you are on a quest here and I click it, it will basically go and auto that quest for me. I can't do it right now because I've already cleared it. Also, if you're in the open world and you just want to auto farm, there's this button in the very bottom left, auto. You can turn this on. It will automatically find enemies near you. You can kill them and it will automatically just continue killing them as long as you stay online. All right, last couple buttons here. If you click this little 2 people icon, this is your friends. You can send them vigor every day and receive from them. They also have this mail. If you get mail, it goes here. If you buy the daily packs that give you daily rewards every single day, they'll come here. Also, when they do maintenance and stuff, they'll give you compensation rewards. Bottom right hand corner, there's 3 boxes. Backpack this shows all your items, all your equipment, everything. It also shows your summoner or character here, shows all the gear they have. I'll go through gear in a minute. Activity, this is where you do all the stuff. So you have arena in its own separate tab. Eventually we will have real-time arena. Adventures, guild boss, we do not have guild boss yet. This activity tab is basically everything you can do in the game. Phantom Abode is like the campaign. You have a bunch of different difficulties, easy all the way through Incubus. Incubus is the hardest difficulty. Element Lord, this is where you farm your materials for evolutions. Demon Fortress, this is where you farm your runes. That is like gear for your phantoms. You have runes, I will go through that later. Towers, this is basically like every other game. You have faction towers, you have the regular tower. These 2 will come soon. King's Warrant, this is where you do all your daily stuff. Focus on King's Warrant first and then focus on daily quests. I'll do daily stuff in a minute. Team Instances, this is basically where you go do dungeons for gear. Goblin Trove, this is for gold. This bottom right hand button, the hamburger button here, this is where you do all sorts of stuff. Career, this is like achievements, you get rewards for it. Grimoire, this is like the index. This is basically where you see all the phantoms and all their skills. Mastery test, this is like the Great Hall in Raid Shadow Legends. It gives you passive stats for all of your phantoms. Formation, this is like your teams. You set them up in here. I already kind of went through formations. Enchantments, this is what your summoner uses. This is basically like spells and you can use those automatically in auto mode. Phantoms, this is where you go look at all your phantoms. Character, this is where you look at your character or your summoner. You can see all sorts of stuff in there. Also, the passive stats that go through to your phantoms are shown there. Craft, you can craft all sorts of different stuff in here, from runes, from event tokens to all sorts of things. You can also upgrade up Evo mats and stuff like that. Sacrifice, this is where you basically do like Evo exchange. If you mess up, you use these keys. You can transfer Evos, you can transfer experience. I wouldn't use the sacrifice function because this gives you essence of life and you get a lot of it nowadays. Blacksmith, this just auto runs you to the blacksmith where you can upgrade gear and all that stuff. I'll go through that in a minute. Chat, I already showed that. You just click this and you can have different chat. You can talk to people. Guild, you have all sorts of little guild functions you can do in here. You have quests that you can do. You have little events which aren't open yet. You can purchase things and basically get bonus rewards. You can donate fragments to people. And yeah, there's your guild. Leaderboard, you can see all sorts of cool stuff in here. Leaderboards, elemental towers, demon tower, arena, level, gold, BM, which is like your overall power. Whoever has the highest power goes to the top. That's leaderboards. Magic cannon, this is learning about enchantments and stuff like that. All right, that was all the buttons. Wow, I'm almost out of breath from that. Okay, so we're done with all the buttons. Now let's just talk about leveling up phantoms, evening up phantoms. That's the very first thing that we should probably be going through. That is the most important. When you're looking at phantoms, it's very important. You have SS tier phantoms. Only focus on SS tier phantoms. You cannot upgrade from A to S to SS. So SS phantoms just have more stats. You always want to build SS phantoms. That's very important. This star function right here is basically the rarity. So 5 stars is the rarest. Then it goes to 4, 3, and 2 stars. 2 stars being the most common. You can see all sorts of stuff here, like what the faction is. This is a light faction or affinity, whatever you want to call it. You have this resonance crystal. Resonance crystal is what I'm going to talk about first because this is the most important feature in this game. Basically what happens is the lowest level out of the top highest phantoms here. You can see I have 4 phantoms. The lowest level is level 520. That means everyone I put in the resonance crystal will go directly to 520. If you've played other AFK type games, this is not an AFK game, but it has some AFK features. You'll know how this works. Basically, put a phantom in here and it will go up to level 520. Okay, so this also means when you're leveling up phantoms, you only have 4 phantoms you want to level up with experience. Okay, experience is kind of hard to get in the beginning, so the best place is like Phantom Abode and stuff like that for getting player and phantom experience. Basically, focus on 4 units that you know you can get the highest level. So if you have a lot of copies of Haley, I would work on Haley. If you have a lot of copies of Dracula, work on Dracula, etc. So sometimes it's not always the best choice to use your super rare phantoms in here because you're not going to be able to get them as high level as possible. You basically go from Evo 1 to Evo 8 and you don't need extra copies of the phantom, but after Evo 8 you go all the way to Evo 28, which is this right here. You basically go through the same star system as it goes through gear and dungeons. So you start with white stars, then yellow stars, then pink stars, then red stars, all the way up to 5 red stars, which is the max, which gives you level 600. So focus on units that you can actually upgrade and save your copies of phantoms early. That's very important. You can see I'm saving copies of some phantoms in here. I got a lot of copies of Jester. Jester is pretty common, especially because you get them from daily login rewards. You also have these things that are skill phantoms. I'll talk about those in a little bit. Okay, that's the resonant crystal. In order to unlock these slots, what you need to do is you get these from completing Phantom Abode levels. You need to 3-star every single level of one of the chapters, and then you get a chest that opens and gives you these. You also use 2 sacrificial phantoms that are SS quality. You basically sacrifice them and it unlocks a slot. You can unlock a lot of slots here. Most people will use these for element towers and stuff like that. All right, that's the resonance crystal. As I said, for evolutions, say I want to evolve someone, just go down here. The evolution requirements are different. Just go through here and look through them. From 4 to 5, you need a Evo 4, same quality, which is SS, and any element. Sometimes it's specific to the element, so just keep an eye on this. I'm not going to go through all of the Evos in here, but just keep an eye on what you need and just build it up as you go. Evo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then once you get to 8, you need copies of the same exact phantom that is also Evo 4. So you can see my goddess Zoe, she's Evo 8. She's max level, she can't go any higher. But if I hit evolution, max Evo 4, Evo 8 is level 200. Now I need copies of her, and they need to be Evo 4 copies, and they have to be SS versions. Then you use these materials, you hit Evo, you'll get another star, as I said, white, gold, pink, red, all the way up to 5-star red, which is the max, which is basically Evo 28, which is max level 600. That's how you upgrade Evos. If you want to upgrade the level of phantoms after you upgrade the Evo, phantoms do not get XP from clearing content. Instead, you go to this upgrade button here in the top left, and basically you just hit level up. This material you get right here, you'll get it from all sorts of different things in the game. I have a crazy amount. In the beginning, it's hard to get that experience, but once you get higher, you'll have so much you won't even need it. That's leveling up. While we're in this menu, I will just show you what else is in here. If you want to upgrade skills, you can use skill phantoms, or you can use an exact copy of the same phantom. Must also be SS quality, so you can use that. The last level takes 2 skill ups. The rest of the levels are only 1, so just upgrade them that way. Runes, this is like your gear, so you just hit this change button. You can choose all sorts of runes. Each slot has a different type of rune. Let me go to a person who has runes on and go over runes really quickly. Okay, so basically this slot right here is the speed rune. It always rolls flat speed on the base stat. You have base stat and extra stats. It's the same thing as gear. The color basically matters, and the number of stars matter. So the higher the number of stars, the higher the base stats. The gold background color means the number of extra stats it comes with. Okay, so this one is max level, speed. Okay, this next rune is resistance or accuracy. If you want to land debuffs, you build it with accuracy. If you do not want to get debuffed, build with resistance. This is the crit rate or crit damage. Build it however you want. Obviously, build crit damage if you have other good stats that get your crit rate up high enough as you need it. This is flat defense. You can either get flat or percent. You can get magic or physical. You always want percent stats over flat stats. This is HP percent or flat HP. You always want HP percent. This one right here is magic attack or physical attack. You always want percent over flat stats yet again. And if you want to see what type of damage they deal, go to details, go to the skills, and you can see it says deals 100% magic damage. So that means you want to build magic damage, not physical damage. Very important. Okay, already went through evolution. The next tab, Amity, kind of behind my head. Basically, this increases their base stats, their stats that you get. You basically ask them questions every day, or you give them gifts. The gifts are specific to each phantom. Some phantoms like other gifts more than others. I have a spreadsheet in the description below that goes through that. Just click the Amity tab and you can see which phantom wants which gifts. Okay, and the very last one is skins. Not all phantoms have skins, but some do. You purchase these for money and you get a cool skin that they can use in battle. Yeah, that's it for everything inside that menu. Fast Evo is another thing. This is basically for making food. You can use tab 1 and tab 2 blindly. Once you get to tab 3, you need to kind of watch what it's doing. You never want to take a S or A tier phantom up to Evo 3. Once it gets to Evo 3, it's useless. And you got to use basically $5 or diamonds to reset the Evo. So just be careful. Watch tab 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2 you can use freely for making food, and there's usually no problems. Just make sure A and S do not go to Evo 3. Very important. That's Fast Evo. Random fact, you can only use one of each type of phantom, so you can only use one Bloody Overlord in any squad. The only way you can use two of the same one is if you use one SS and one S. You could also use one A and use 3 of the same phantom. I don't know why you would ever do that, but just FYI, you cannot use the same phantom. Alright, that was absolutely everything when it comes to phantoms, leveling them up, evoing up, runes, amity, etc. Now let's talk about dungeons and gear. So the next important huge feature in this game is dungeons. They have actual dungeons where you go inside, you can run around, there's like trash mobs, picture kind of like World of Warcraft. You run in there, you do the dungeon, you can even hit auto and it'll go through and do the whole thing. You get gear. So all you gotta do is click this team instance thing here. You can do them with friends, right? You can take 2 other people into a dungeon with you as long as they meet the level requirements to get into the dungeon. If I go to Taskmir's Palace, this is the hardest dungeon. They go in this order: Witch Swamp, Sea Kings behind my head, Crystal Forge, Ghost Vault, then Taskmir's. The gear system and dungeon system is interesting. The very hardest difficulty is locked by player level 600. If I go to Ghost Vault, which is the one before that, this one's 570 all the way down, etc. The gear system is interesting. So you have basically colored stars and you have a number of stars, okay? So let me show you Taskmir's. So you have easy, hard, hell, incubus. The gear, the color of the stars matters more than the number of stars. So a 2-star red piece is better than a 6-star purple piece, okay? So red star gear is always better than purple. Purple's always better than gold. Gold is always better than silver, okay? That's how it works. Go in the dungeon. I won't show a dungeon, but it's pretty self-explanatory. You just hit go to, choose your difficulty, enter the dungeon, and then go through and clear all the bosses. You'll get tokens to craft gear. You'll get materials. You can see this here. These are for crafting and upgrading gear. And you will also get gear drops, okay? You'll get gear drops in the dungeon. I'll show you the gear. Red is the best gear, 3-star. This is the highest I can clear right now. You can see what it means here. So the red stars are the best. You can see if I go down in quality, now I'm at 2-star red. You can go all the way down to purple, etc. The background color means how many extra stats you get, aka substats. They're usually called substats. In this game, they're called extra stats. You can reforge those extra stats. It's kind of expensive, but yeah. Okay, so gold stats, you can see here. Gold gear, I mean, you get 4 substats. Purple gear, you get 3 substats. Blue gear, you get 2 substats. Green gear, you get 1 substat, and gray gear you get no substats. Okay, that's all the substats. That's all the gear system. That's the dungeons. Again, you can do it with squads. You can do them with other people. It's really cool. When you join a squad, basically the leader gets auto followed by everyone else in the squad, and he leads through the dungeon, kills all the bosses, and everyone goes into battle. Again, only 2 people. You can only bring 2 phantoms in per person, so that is important to remember. Okay, let's look at gear now. We went through dungeons. Gear, if you click the hamburger button and then click blacksmith, it will take you over here. You can talk to the blacksmith and do all sorts of different things. You can upgrade gear, which is increasing the level. You can forge gear, that is crafting gear with the materials. You have reforge gear, this is changing the substats. And you have meltdown gear, is gear you don't want. You can melt it down, and you can get the currency to use to basically reroll substats, which is this currency up here, okay? All right, let's go through all of them very quickly. Upgrade gear. This is upgrading the level of gear. This is pretty self-explanatory. 24 is the max gear level. You can see all my gear is max level. If I want to upgrade something, you just click it and you hit boost. You need a different material depending on the color of the stars. Red gear uses a different material than pink gear versus gold gear versus silver gear. Upgrade it. For weapons, you do get new abilities at certain level intervals. So if I show you my weapon, it's boosted to max, but it also increases the levels as you go through. If you lose this little ability to interact with him, just run away and run back and it'll come back. Sometimes it doesn't work properly. If you go to Forge, this is how you craft gear. So once you start getting into Incubus, you can craft any level of gear, but obviously when you craft it, it's gonna have a level requirement. So you can see this requires 570. So even though I can craft it, it doesn't mean I can put it on. So that's important. You can craft both purple gear and orange gear. Again, purple gear has 3 substats. Orange gear has 4 substats. Craft gear. This is the only way to get orange gear right now in the game, is to craft it. You can get purple drops inside dungeons, and you can also craft it. Okay, so that's crafting. Basically, crafting is the only way to get gold gear now in the game, so that's very important. Gold gear has all 4 extra stats. You can re-roll them to really cool stats, like all allies get speed, all allies get crit rate, all allies get crit damage, etc. You can get all sorts of these very cool substats here. You can also get things that interact with your enchantments, which are your spells. So that is the main purpose of reforging, and you really want gold gear. Get 4 stats. I mean, you can roll all ally speed +5 4 times on a piece of gear. So I'll show you the reforge process. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to use your reforge stones. You're going to put a piece of gear in here. You're going to hit refine, and it's going to change these stats. Okay. Now, if I want to keep one of these stats, I just hit this lock button. Okay, right behind my head, hit that lock button, and then you hit reforge. It will reforge these top 3 into these 3, and it will lock this bottom one, which is allies crit rate. Okay. That's reforging. It gets very expensive when you get to red star gear. It gets very, very expensive. It's very easy to burn through all of them. And the more you lock, the more expensive it is. So you can see if I want to lock 3 of the 4, I need 300,000 reforged stones. So it's very expensive. The last one here is meltdown gear. If you have gear you don't want, you obviously have an inventory space, so you're going to have to get rid of gear at some point. Any gear you don't want, I recommend getting rid of like white gear, green gear, blue gear first, and then keeping purple and gold gear. So if I want to smelt something, I just click it. This is a piece of blue gear. I don't want it, so I'm just going to hit smelt. It's going to go away, and it's going to give me more reforged stones. Okay? All right, that was everything for gear and dungeons. Let me talk a little bit more about runes. I talk about what stats go on every rune already, but basically for runes, you go to this rune dungeon here. There's one that's not open yet. This might be 6-star runes coming soon. The star rating of the runes means how high the stats can go. That's both the main stat and the substat. If you go through each one of these, you can see the different runes you can get. Each dungeon has different runes in it. So you have speed runes, you have basically like a revival rune that gives you HP every turn. You got all sorts of runes in here. And basically the higher you go down, the higher star rating runes you can get. You can see that right here. So the very last one gets 4 and 5 star. If you go up here, it's 3 to 5 star. If you go down here, it's 2 to 4 star, etc. You can challenge these, kill the boss. If you lose, you don't lose all of your energy. That's important. So when you're auto farming, if you lose a couple, it's okay. Fiery Dragon has totally different runes. Wolf Demon has totally different runes. Look through them all. Some have 2-piece bonuses. Some have 4-piece bonuses. No 4-piece there. Let's go over here real quick. These are all 2-piece, 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 2-piece. Here's a 4-piece. So some have 4-piece. None of them have 2-piece and 4-piece together. If you remember before, sometimes they'd have a 2-piece bonus and a 4-piece. Now they're split up. So all the runes are different. There's new runes. There's all sorts of rune changes. You can also roll flat stats on runes now, which you could not before. So it's a little bit harder to roll runes, but it's also cheaper to roll up runes. So they've made a lot of changes for runes. Eventually they'll open up this one, which will open up 6-star runes, I think. So that'll be very cool. That is all the rune system. There is a cost now to remove runes, but it's not too bad. You can also craft runes. If you hit the hamburger button and you go over here to craft, you can craft runes. So you get materials from doing Demon Fortress. You also get them from Arena and stuff like that. So you can craft them. You can craft specific ones from Arena that you can only get from those. And then for Demon Fortress, you can basically craft all these other runes. Just use the materials, hit craft, and it's going to craft a rune for you. You can see here it's 1 to 3 star. This one's 2 to 4 star. This one's 3 to 5 star. So this is the best materials you need to craft the best runes. There's all sorts of stuff in this crafting one. You can, when you have events and stuff, they also give you these little hats and stuff like that. And you can craft these little packs that give you a bunch of materials. So very cool stuff there. All right, we're approaching 30 minutes here, so I'm going to say one last thing before I end the video. I want to say what you should do daily. So what you want to do is you want to first do your King's Warrants. So when you click King's Warrants, it's going to auto run you over here to Keto. You're going to click Warrants, and basically you want to go through and do these first. This is the first thing I focus on. Focus on these ones that give either diamonds or energy. You know, this is Vigor, aka energy. Focus on those first. There's always a couple of them. Like this one, you want to do this one first. Some of them take you into dungeons. So before you do dungeons, check your warrants, pick them up, go do the dungeon, etc. Otherwise, they'll go have you like kill 20 enemies or go collect some things. Complete these warrants first. After warrants, I recommend going down here and doing daily quests. You can do as many as you want. I would focus on at least the ones with diamonds. You can also focus on these ones. They give you some materials where you can craft stuff. This one gives you keys for free stuff there, and this one gives you smelting stones. So there's your daily quest. You also probably want to do your arena every day, at least do a couple of battles. At the end of the week, you basically get a bunch of rewards, and you also get daily rewards from arena. You get special rune crafting materials, so you get some stuff in arena that you can't get anywhere else. And one of the other things you want to do every single day is towers. Click the tower button. It'll auto run you over to the tower person over here, and then you can hit enter tower. And basically you have your regular tower, which is open every day, and it goes all the way up to level 600. You can only beat it one time. There's no reset. Then you have these faction towers for each different faction or affinity or element, whatever you want to call it. They have water, fire, forest, light, shadow. Those aren't the correct names, but you get the point. You have a different formation for each one. You can only take dark heroes into the abyss tower. You can only take light heroes into the light tower. So that's important. Clear these because you can only have certain days. It's the weekend right now, so they're all open, but these only open on certain days and they do reset. Yeah, every Monday they're reset, so they refresh every week. So go through and do them during the week and get all the rewards. They were reset. The Demon Tower does never reset. So this is just one-time rewards. It goes all the way to 600. I'm not sure if they're ever going to change that, but right now it says Demon Tower will not refresh. All right, that was a lot of information thrown at you, but I wanted to make a beginner guide under 30 minutes that goes through basically all of the content in the game, how everything works, where all the buttons are, what you should do daily, all of that good stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, go down there, hit the like button for me. Also sub to the channel if you want to see more of my content. I make Summoner's Glory content, Awaken Chaos Era content, and sometimes Rage of Destiny content. So if you like those gacha games, please hit that sub and notification bell. Thank you so much and have a great day, everyone. See you guys. Brand new game, totally changed. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See ya.